Rob Dew, you're sitting next to me. We're just looking over this news. What do you see going on with this shooting where they say 7 are now dead?
Well, it looks like he was taken out by one officer who arrived at the scene. That's what it's saying so far. Another thing in here is that the officer was shot several times and taken to the hospitals and expected to survive. And so interesting stuff. They found 4 people inside dead, 2 outside. And then, of course, you know, officers with assault rifles surrounded the building to keep everyone safe after the gunman had been taken care of, when that's usually the case.
Oh, I can't wait to see what happens when the real story comes out, because we already know so much about the Colorado Batman massacre, how much that doesn't add up, how they refuse to address the questions about the other shooters, who let him in the door, what was up with the other gas masks, and all the other things that don't fit. They just want to talk about how to curb guns, curb our liberties, and now they're saying that's one of the reasons we have to join forces between the military and police to find IEDs, because this guy had some explosives.
And have more drones in the sky so they could track people and spy on them without anybody knowing. That's what's coming. You have these 2 main things, this IED thing that just started last week coming into the news, and then we see that the FBI once again has broken up another vicious Aryan motorcycle gang, and this time it just happened to have 3 undercover FBI agents in it, all of whom were explosives experts.
Every time it's an FBI undercover agent, but now it's no longer Al-Qaeda all the time. It's motorcycle gangs, it's regular Americans, it's people who want to own guns, right?
It's diluting the field, essentially. Anybody can be a terrorist. Anybody who doesn't fit in the clean-cut, white bread realm of, yes, sir, I'll do whatever the homeland says. If you're not falling right in line, well, you could be a terrorist. You start speaking out like that, you never know.
Well, you know, this is Alice in Wonderland through the looking glass, because everyone's a terrorist except actual Al-Qaeda. Those are our allies, whether in Libya, whether in Syria, whether to oppose Russia. And now there's all these news articles about how accidentally Al-Qaeda showed up when they were put there by the Pentagon folks. And now the Muslim Brotherhood has their own militia inside Syria. We will get into all that, but as I mentioned, Alex Jones is joining us on the other side of this break on this live Sunday edition, and he's going to break down the latest moves to move us further along down the road to martial law, this whole merging of military and police, because non-existent IEDs are going to get us from everywhere as they fuel the drug gangs, as they launder their money on Wall Street, as they invite them into the country to have a destruction party. All that's coming up on the other side. This is Infowars.com. Stay tuned. Big live Sunday broadcast. We'll be back on the other side.
Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com, None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com.
Alex Jones is waiting in the wings. Now, so much is going on in the world. They're ramping up the background noise for World War III. Russia's descending on Syria. Everything's happening with Iran. Meanwhile, they're trying to harden, solidify, and bring home the war on terror to blame domestic terrorists and merge the military and police. Alex Jones, are you there?
Yes, Aaron, thank you for sitting in on this Sunday broadcast there with the InfoWars Nightly News Director, Rob Dew. I know you have a ton of information to cover today. In fact, our top story that I was going to call in and cover in the first segment dealt with a Houston Chronicle report, and I talked about this years ago. The police are being told domestic terrorist, i.e. returning veterans. This is in the MIAC and Homeland Security reports. People remember those coming out when we broke it, when law enforcement sent it to us years ago. They are telling the police that veterans will attack every single jurisdiction in the country with IEDs or improvised explosive devices. This is like saying leprechauns will attack, or Puff the Magic Dragon or the Easter Bunny will attack every single jurisdiction. Police are told they will be attacked by veterans, that veterans are going to start a civil war. ABC is coming out with a new show called Founding Fathers that demonizes veterans and gun owners and Texans. They have also a new show on NBC, Worshiping the UN. This is the globalists who've taken this country over, engaging in this. Now remember, in the last 3-4 years, we've seen internal Homeland Security training videos now that are public. They're going public with them now, where every terrorist is white. Now, again, I don't get into racial issues except when the media engages in divide and conquer. The LA Times 2 weeks ago admitted that when someone of another race commits a mass murder, they withhold the race unless it's white. And in this tragic shooting at the Sikh Temple in Wisconsin, within an hour, they want everybody to know it's an evil, white, lone wolf. Hate crime is what USA Today is saying right now. That's up on Infowars.com. Now, understand, folks, they don't have one, they don't have two, they don't have three, they don't have four. They have 5 bills racing through Congress that ban all semi-autos, ban all magazines 10 rounds and above, ban possession. We've covered these bills. The media is giving it almost no attention. The UN treaty is not dead to restrict our Second Amendment. It even says in Article 15, foreign troops will disarm the American people. Ladies and gentlemen, so much is happening right now. And notice that a police officer, i.e. someone trained with a gun, responded quickly and took this guy out. And that's the only reason you didn't see more people getting killed. The answer is when lone nuts, and for 20 years mass shooting numbers have been flat, the media just hypes them up. There's been a 0.1% increase since 1992. Look it up. Justice Department's own numbers. Kurt Nimmo at Infowars.com has done big detailed reports on all of this. So what I'm saying to everybody is this. Guns are the answer to defend ourselves from crazies. In every case, including the Colorado shooting, as we predicted, he was on multiple psychotropics, just like Harrison Kleinbold, just like Kip Kinkle, just like every other mass shooter, always. I mean, when police pull up to a Houston home a few years ago and the mother had chopped the arms and legs off her baby, they knew what would be in the medicine cabinet. Prozac. It puts you in a hallucinogenic state, a dream state, and when you have a bad trip, you start becoming a homicidal murderer. It says it in the drug insert. That's why teen suicides are off the charts. It makes you commit suicide. It removes your compulsion. If you have a thought of mass shooting people, like a robot, you go and do it. The drugs are the issue, and we told you he'd have Pentagon psychologists, top Air Force psych warfare psychologists assigned to him. They knew everything he was, quote, planning, and the witnesses all said that they were seeing multiple people and smoke bombs and multiple gas masks, but all of that's been swept under the rug. Now, that said here, I want to throw it back to the guest host here today, but I was already planning to call in on the issue that is up at Infowars.com, where they are announcing nationwide here in the United States that they want to have basically troops on the streets and all the rest of this, and the Secretary of the Army has said that they want troops on the streets.
Alex Jones reporting for Info.
And again, I just accidentally played one of my videos where I'm breaking this down on Infowars.com. The point is that they are pushing troops on the streets, TSA-style operations on the streets. It's now all beginning with the ridiculous idea that there will be bombs in every major city. And what they don't say on the news is they're teaching the police. They're teaching the police that veterans will start attacking the police departments. That's the part that's not in the news. That's why they say everyone's going to be attacked by IEDs. And this latest thing, they're saying Mexican drug cartels. Ladies and gentlemen, this is nothing but a giant power grab. Now, the original reason I wanted to have the first segment of the show today was because I wanted to get into another issue that is so big, it is mind-blowing. But at this time, I want you guys to be able to cover false flag, the IED story, the fact that it's finally in hundreds of newspapers that the Western governments, including our government, are funding al-Qaeda as the main leaders of the takeover of Syria, Jews and Christians being slaughtered en masse at the hands of our Pentagon So I want to turn the show over to you guys, and then just look at your schedule today, because I know you have a lot. Later, I will call in with a top story for anyone who is concerned in this nation about their power prices doubling or tripling. I'm going to call in later in the show and spend 5 minutes or so breaking down a report that was in the front page of the Austin American-Statesman on Friday, Council Eyes coal plant sale. And they go on to say that they've shut down 2 Austin power plants in the last 10 years. That's why our power prices have roughly doubled. And they go on to say this supplies 33% of our power, the Fayetteville plant, and they're going to shut it down and sell it off because carbon dioxide is evil. All that comes out of those smokestacks in the new plants, folks, is carbon dioxide and water vapor, but the news points at it like it's smoke. But you notice it dissipates. It goes away because all it is hot air and water coming out of there. Hot gases and water coming out of there. Nothing else. And people say, well, why are they doing this? It's happening all over the West, but Austin's one of the worst. San Francisco's doing it too. Obama, 2 years ago, look it up, signed a waiver for General Electric and 2 other big companies. Just type in Obama signs General Electric coal plant waiver. They can run even the old 30-year-old dirty ones. They have a waiver. All their competition is being shut down, and the profits of General Electric, who's a globalist anti-American corporation offshore, their profits skyrocket. So it's a bank robbery. There's more than one way to rob a bank, folks. Let's say there's 2 water districts supplying you water. If you can sell one off for nothing to a company and let them double prices, that's a bank robbery. If cities that have been bought off and paid off by big globalist lobbyists, if they can come in, listen carefully, and have Austin shut down 3 power plants, which they've already shut down 2, that's why you're paying so much more, and they admit it and say it's good for the earth. No, it's not good for the earth. It is a criminal robbery of Austin, Texas. This is death by trendiness, ladies and gentlemen, and it is incredible. There's a video called Agenda 21, cutting off electricity to U.S. cities. It is so off the charts, and the paper keeps everybody in the dark and reports on it like it's a good thing that the mayor, Lee Leffingwell, doesn't want us in Austin, Texas, and this is for people all over the country listening, the same thing's happening, doesn't want us to be able to have a referendum on our city-owned and paid-for giant, clean, modern electric plant. There's 3 plants at the Fayetteville facility. We own one of them, and they're going to take it and sell it for almost nothing.
Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.